time for Nerdgasm.
Hey, what's up guys? Jerry here, aka Barnacules, and I'm reporting live from the Oval Office in the White House. Now, President Obama is a huge supporter of the channel, and he invited me out for the day, and it has been absolutely amazing. Except for it didn't happen, because I'm actually here in Las Vegas. Because Las Vegas is awesome. Why wouldn't you want to be here? But see, I fooled you again, because I'm actually on the surface of Mars. That's right, Mars. And I just saw the Curiosity rover literally just right over there. And I'm going to show you guys how I did it right now. Stay tuned. So guys, obviously I've achieved all of this using something called a green screen, and it's probably pretty obvious that I have a large green, screen behind me. And the way that it works is by having something that's a constant color behind me, I can actually remove that color in post-processing and superimpose myself onto anything else, like Las Vegas, or the White House, or Mars. Now, the neat thing is, if you want to do something cool, but you don't have a great studio or a lot of space, a green screen can help you with that, because you can put yourself anywhere that you want to be. You can also do stuff like superimpose statistics and stuff in the background that make your videos more interactive and more professional, like a lot of the news programs that you watch. A lot of the stuff that they do is in front of green screens also. Like the weatherman isn't actually standing there in front of a ginormous screen going, oh, look, there's the clouds. Well, actually, he probably is now. This is the 21st century. But anyways, back in the day, he stood in front of a green screen. He had to fake it all. And you can do it too. So the first thing to work with a green screen is you need a green screen. I highly recommend that you get a hold of a green screen that is a solid material that is non-reflective. Like the green screen that I'm using right here, you can see is actually a pretty soft green material. And because of that, it allows the light to be diffused and it doesn't get hot spots. Because obviously, if you get a hot spot from the light on the green screen, it's not going to be as green anymore. And it's not going to be as uniform, and it's going to make it harder for the software to determine where you are relative to the screen behind you. Now, if you guys want to buy a green screen, I actually have a link to a couple that I've selected down in the video description to get you started. Now, I wouldn't recommend this one for beginners. I'm actually up here at Epic Exposure in North Bend, Washington, which is a huge photography studio. And I'm standing on a 20-foot by 20-foot green screen. And let's be honest, not a lot of people have room for a 20-foot by 20-foot green screen. But I was lucky enough today that he left the door unlocked and I could just come on in here and do whatever I want. So this is what we're working with, guys. Now, when working with a green screen, the most important thing obviously is lighting. And the reason why I say obviously is because it wasn't obvious to me at all when we started this venture hours ago. It turns out green screen lighting is actually a little bit harder than I thought. I thought, well, turn on some lights, throw a green screen behind me and I'm fine. But the problem was we were getting lots of shadows because, light plus arm equals shadow puppet. So you don't want shadows. You have to cancel out shadows. So you have to actually work on your lighting and spend some time to ensure that you're not casting shadows on the green screen behind you. And the way that we achieve that is by actually taking two LED panels. Now you can use any light that's available to you. Try to get something that's color accurate and white balanced to what you're shooting. But we're using these 1x1 panels, and the idea is to point the panels at the green screen behind me, but not at me. We want that light to go just to the green screen and not at me. Because if it hits me, it's going to cast shadows, and we don't want the shadows. Remember? You guys following? Now, the next thing you want to do is you want to put two lights behind you pointing at you. So now those lights aren't lighting the green screen. They're literally just lighting your backside and your butt and stuff. And the reason for that being is it gives you a really nice sharp contrast. As you can see here, I mean, you want a well-defined line. You also want to make sure that the focus on your camera is dead on. Right now, I'm trusting my fate to autofocus, so we'll see how this video turns out. But honestly, you want to get the subject tack sharp and you want the green screen to be blurred out a little bit. And the reason for that being is if you do not have a sharp line around the subject and it's blurred between green and the color of their skin or the clothing they're wearing, you're actually going to see a green glow around them when you remove it in post-processing. So definitely make sure that you focus a lot of attention on focus and not casting shadows. Now, once you got the green screen lit to where you're not casting a bunch of shadow puppets onto the thing, now you need to focus on lighting the subject. Now, the way that we're doing that right now is we're actually bouncing two LED lights down off of these white panels that we have on the floor so that the light is going down and coming up at me. So instead of casting shadows behind me, it's casting them way up high out of frame where you don't see them. Now, you can use lots of different lighting techniques to light your subject depending on what you're trying to achieve. But in this case, this was the easy and most practical way for us to do it. And we also have a couple of beauty lights that are heavily diffused using soft boxes that are just kind of accentuating my features. Now, granted, I'm not going to lie, we're probably using about $20,000 worth of lighting in this studio, and we're using an obnoxiously expensive green screen, but you can achieve similar effects for a lot less money. You don't need huge, crazy lights. You don't need a massive green screen. If you just want to, basically get your upper body, like your face and your torso, and do something that's more of like a news style broadcast, you can get away with a much smaller green screen in a much smaller space. But just remember, the closer that you stand to the green screen, the more chance you have of casting shadows. So you have to get really creative with your lighting. If you don't have a lot of room and you have to sit right up against the green screen, it may take putting lights literally right down behind you, pointing up at the screen to cancel out the shadows, and it could get really tricky. All right, so now at this point, we figured out that you do need a green screen, and also the green screen can be blue, which is kind of funny because they call it a green screen, but it can be blue and not green. But the reason why you'd want a blue screen is, let's say you were shooting some kind of a Christmas video and you happen to have some elves, and those elves were wearing green outfits. Well, obviously, if you shot them against a green screen, they're going to look like hovering heads and they're going to terrify children. So in that case, you would use a blue screen. But the truth is, you can use just about any vibrant color that you want as long as it's evenly lit and it doesn't match any of the colors that are on the subject. Another thing that you definitely want to keep in mind is if you're shooting anybody that wears glasses that have a reflective surface, that reflective surface could pick up some of the colors and reflections of the green screen, and that's going to cause you problems in post-processing. So be very, very careful when you're recording yourself or somebody else against a green screen that they're not wearing anything that contrasts with the color behind them, or you're going to have a bad day. All right, so at this point, you've deployed your $20,000 worth of light and like your $2,000 green screen. I'm just kidding. You guys probably just use the cheap, muslin fabric from Amazon.com like I do at home, and set up a couple of compact CFLs. But you know what? If it gets the job done, who cares? Nobody's going to know. If it works, it works. So now you got your footage. You recorded your footage. You're in focus. You didn't cast any shadows. You're starting to feel a little bit like Shia LaBeouf. You got it going on, right? Now it's time to edit that footage. So to do that, you're going to need a program like Adobe Premiere or Final Cut Pro if you're one of those Apple Mac users. And you're going to look for a feature in the software called chroma key. And you can actually go find tons of other tutorials on YouTube. So I'm not going to go through the entire process for you here, but you basically add a filter to the video that takes the green color behind you and removes it from the video. And by doing that, it makes it transparent. And the only thing that's left behind is, well, me standing in the Oval Office. And you will know very, very quickly if you did your job wrong, because you're going to have problems with parts of your arm dissolving away. You're going to have parts with your hair glowing green. You're going to look like the Incredible Hulk. And that means you didn't spend enough time on your lighting and you didn't spend enough time on the focus on your camera. Now, if you've witnessed either of those things throughout this video, that pretty much means that I fell victim to that exact thing. And this has all just been a learning process. All right, now I want to take a second to talk to some of you guys out there that are doing live streaming. That's like playing video games on Twitch or doing podcasts and things like that. If you want to do chroma key in real time, you can use a program called XSplit or a free program called OBS, Open Broadcaster. And those softwares allow you to apply a chroma key in real time to a webcam, or like I have here, I can use my my regular Sony Handycam with an HDMI out through a capture card. Now, if you do that, you can apply the chroma filter, and as long as your background green screen is well lit and you're cropped properly, you can literally have the effect of just your torso and your head superimposed over your gameplay. And there's a lot of people you've probably seen doing this, and this is exactly how they do it. Now, again, they probably don't do it with a 20-foot by 20-foot green screen in a massive, like 3,000 square foot professional photo studio, but you get the picture. All right, guys, well, honestly, that is about all I can tell you at this point. This has been a huge learning experience for me today. I wasn't even going to create this video, but seriously, we realized that it wasn't as easy as we thought to get this whole thing set up and lit properly for shooting video, and I thought it would be a cool opportunity to basically show you guys all of the problems that I've encountered and show you how to combat those problems. And I hope that I've done a good job of doing that. If you guys have suggestions, please make them down in the comments or come over to Twitter and tweet me. I am at Barnacules. And let me know if you guys have any tips and tricks to make a green screen a lot easier to achieve. And also, if you guys know how to work out some of the problems with green screens when you're standing closer to them. Yeah, I'm talking to all you college students that live in a dorm that's like the size of an average U.S. jail cell. I would love to hear about it, because I've had many problems at home trying to achieve a good green screen effect. And obviously in a studio with a very large green screen and a massive amount of lighting, I have a lot more options available to me than a couple compact flashlights and the sheets I stole from the 70s. All right, guys, well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Please hit that like button down below. Also, check the video description for links to other useful information pertaining to the subject. Or if you just want to buy a really cool shirt that says this t-shirt's for poor people and support me. because I don't want to go back to work and do real work. Like, I just want to sit at home in my pajama pants and play video games and get paid. I mean, seriously, you gonna blame me? All right, guys, well, I'm headed back to Mars. I want to go find that Curiosity rover.
Do it!
No!
Just do it!
No!
Don't let your dreams be dreams.
No! Hey guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. Please take a moment and subscribe to my channel. It helps me a lot. Also, come over to Twitter. I'm at Barnacules. I'm a real social guy. Also, if you have a couple of minutes, check out some of these many other videos. I made them myself.